Alright, so now that we have a slab, we're going to start cutting out some pieces to make a box. I'm not going to make a cube. I'm going to make something with close to a right angle and then probably a curved side. But I'm going to start out with the bottom of the box, and it doesn't necessarily matter. I'm just going to do a little bit more than a right angle, and then just so you know how to do it, I'll curve the side of it this way. So this is going to be the bottom of my box. So the next thing I'm going to have to do is then build up walls on top of this. So in order to do that, the first thing I need is like a rectangle or something that's the same length as this. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use this as a template. I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger. And then this is going to dictate how tall my box is. So I don't want to make something real big, so I'm just going to go about this size. So then what's going to happen here is I've got to attach this here. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to need to do is score it. You score both sides. So I'm going to score it here. And then I'm going to score the connected area, which is here. And then I'm going to have to apply some slip. This is just like the other methods that we've used whenever you're attaching two pieces of clay together. You've got to score it and slip it. This is of course no different. So at this point I'm going to take the two pieces, I'm going to press them together pretty hard until all of that excess slip starts to ooze out. When that happens, I'll just kind of clean that up a little bit on the inside and the outside just so it doesn't get too messy. And that's how we're going to connect our sides together. So our next step, and it becomes more structural the more pieces you add, so our next step will be this wall here. So that'll have to be a little bit longer. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm just going to cut a rectangle. This is almost certainly going to be too long, and that's okay. Because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take it and hold it here, and then I'm going to roll it into place, and that's going to tell me how big it needs to be. It needs to be this long. So now that I know that, I can come back over here, I can cut this off, and then I can score it and slip it the same way I did the other pieces. So I'm going to score this. I'm going to score this. And then slip. I've also got to score that wall, so where it connects here and here. So I've got to do this side as well. As well as where it's connecting over here. Everywhere you've got two pieces of clay touching, you score and slip. So score, get some slip on there. want to be sure your slip is mixed really well. You don't want it chunky. So then the same thing. We're going to put it here, press it into place really well. So the good thing about this method is that you can still trim it if it's a little too big. So this is a little taller than my other wall, but that's real easy to deal with. So just like I did last time, I'm going to clean up that edge just a little bit, that connecting point. So I'm supporting the inside while I'm kind of cleaning it up on the outside. Same way we did with the coils. But because it's taller on the wall here than it was here, I'm just going to take, you can do this with a needle tool, whatever, but I'm just going to go and just trim it off. That way it's the same height. So now I've got to do this wall. I think I'll have enough material to do that right here. So just cut it off. Here, and it's a little bit long, so I'll mark it, cut it. So now that it fits right here, trim it a little bit more. So now what I have to do is I have to score 3 sides of this, and I have to score here, here, and here. So again, all the connection points. The scoring is incredibly important with this, and that pressure that I'm putting on it while I'm putting it together, that's really important too. These things have a tendency to just kind of crumble at these seams if you don't put a good amount of pressure, forcing those 2 pieces of clay into a single piece. I mean, that's more or less what we're doing. So you've got to fill all of these holes, you've got to put a lot of pressure on there. You can always kind of reshape it a little bit after you put them together. The plasticity of this clay body is pretty significant, so it's malleable. So I'm just going to push it all together. Now you can see here, when I push it together, it's pushing that excess slip out. So you've got this ooze kind of coming out of there. That's important. That's how you know you've put some pressure there. And then I'm going to put my finger on the inside and just go in and kind of clean this up a little bit, just to get rid of some of that now. Makes it a little bit easier. And then I can go back with my finger afterwards to get rid of the canvas texture. So that's pretty much the box itself. This is just a 3-sided box. You can make a 4-sided box. You can make an 8-sided box. That's up to you. But we are also, the next thing I'm going to do is show you how to make a lid. So that'll be next. Thanks.